What's up, everyone? It's day 64 of 75 Hard. I just finished my second workout of the day, my 45-minute outdoor workout. And once again, that consisted of me going to the local high school track and running on the straight 100 yards and then walking around the curves. I did that for a total of 10 laps, so 2.5 miles. I'm going to continue doing that because I feel like I'm getting a better calorie burning going on compared to just the rucking. It's good to alternate whenever you kind of plateau out. Instead of having to just add more weight to the ruck or add more time to it, you can just change up your workout and do something you're not used to. And like I said before, I haven't done any sprints like this in about a year, so my body's definitely feeling it. Yesterday, I mentioned my lower back felt jacked up from the running the day before because this is the third night I've done it in a row. Today, not so much in my lower back. It's just mostly my calves are real tight, so nothing to worry about. But today's been a good day otherwise. I woke up around 8:30 this morning. I've been falling asleep around 2. That's why I'm sleeping in. Usually I like to get up around 5 or 6 and just get the day started. But I got up and did my hour on the tread climber like I usually do. Then I got ready for the day and went to the local gym. I did 45 more minutes on the treadmill there. And then I did just a quick little back workout with some abs. After that, I needed to go take a drug test for work. And so that took up some time because I was having to deal with the company that does like the random drug screening pool, that program that I had to sign up for. I missed out on something that I needed to fill in. So I had to call and deal with calling somebody. So that took a little while, and then I had to go take the actual drug test. So got that all done though. I should be going back to work probably within the week. Not exactly for sure. The last time I heard anything, they said we're going to open the wells on November 7th, which is next Tuesday. Today's October 30th, 2023. But we'll see. I'm not in a rush. I'm chilling. Basically, I'm finishing up the program. I feel like I'll be at work a few days before I finish the program, so I'll be having to work my shift and do the program, which I've done about half of the time on this program so far. About half of the days I was working 12-hour shifts while still I was doing it. I was still maintaining all the tasks and building up the discipline over the time. No problems with the diet still. I feel like I'm locked in on that. I don't even really crave anything. There's one thing, I lied. There's one thing I do want, and that's Krispy Kreme donuts fresh from the Krispy Kreme place. Just what I want. That's literally what I wanted last year whenever I was doing this too. And it's what I went and got the first day that I could. That was after I did the bodybuilding show last year. I was still doing 75 hard through the bodybuilding competition. I still had like a week after the bodybuilding show ended. But then my daughter and I went on the cruise. So as soon as 75 hard ended, that was like a Friday or a Thursday, we drove to New Orleans and went on a cruise the next day. So that was pretty cool how it worked out like that. It's going to be similar this time, but I'll obviously be done with 75 a lot sooner than that. I still haven't made up my mind if I'm going to start phase 1 immediately, because there's different things you can do on these bodybuilding competitions to get peaked, is what they call it. The last few days before the show, or even the last week, you'll manipulate like your carb intake and your sodium and your water intake. And there's some different tricks you can use, like right before you go on stage, you can take a shot of like vodka basically, or some kind of liquor. You ever notice if you're out drinking, this is like you guys, those first few drinks, if you're somebody that lifts and you've been lifting, consistently, you go have a few shots or whatever, you get that buzz. Don't you ever notice you just look way more vascular and like you can just flex harder, comparatively, or it just feels like you do anyways, because I guess you've been drinking. But that feeling will, if you don't get past that buzz point, just get that little bit in you. It's just some tricks. People really use red wine, but I've noticed whenever I was drinking in the past that liquor would do the same thing. So I may end up using that method, but obviously if I'm on Live Hard, then there's no alcohol allowed, no exceptions. Actually, there was an exception. If you take your communion at church, and that's something that you have, that is the exception to drinking wine on 75 hard. I did read that in the book. That was a question that was listed in there for you to be able to reference. So if that is you and you take your communion on Sundays, or some religions take it every day, I think, that is allowed. So don't feel like you have to give that up. Other than that, feel good. It's just going by. I'm making sure I complete all the tasks without overlooking anything. I try to get each thing done earlier in the day just because I have time right now. Whenever I'm at work, I kind of put myself in a routine and stick to it. I'll wake up, work out, eat, wait another hour, work out again, and then get ready for work. Work, then go straight to sleep. Here, it's just more, I'm kind of free. I don't really have a lot going on unless I do something with Mackenzie or just some little things. Like tomorrow I need to go get my registration renewed. I actually got pulled over Friday. A motorcycle cop, I turned and the motorcycle cop was on the road that I was turning into, saw my registration sticker. He was at the red light, turned around right there at the red light and pulled me over for my registration and gave me a ticket. So I need to get that renewed, and so I can get that ticket dismissed before it goes out too long. But that's frustrating. Yeah, obviously I know I need to handle my things, but yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that right now. But otherwise, everything's going good. Feeling good about finishing the program and seeing how far I can take this with the rest of my life. And you should be excited too if you're on day 64, or if you're however far along you are. You should be proud of yourself for taking these steps, and be proud of yourself that you're going to continue to build this discipline up and set the example for everybody around you, and especially your kids. Today, the message that I wanted to give is, too many of us, and me included, for the longest time, I could not fathom the feeling of being alone. You know what I'm talking about? You're with somebody constantly. You're used to having somebody's, they're with you. Somebody's always with you. And then you get to where you're single, or you're just alone in general, whatever causes that. And I've been single for most of the last 5 years. But before that, I couldn't even imagine how I would be able to survive by myself, because I couldn't stand myself, basically. I couldn't stand being alone with myself, and that's what a lot of people have problems with. That's why they stay in these relationships that would otherwise be better off ending, as opposed to being alone. And I'm here to tell you, that feeling that you think that you can't handle yourself being alone can be overcome. And the best way I can say to overcome it is to find things that create an outlet for you. Working out obviously is one, and you can build up your own list of things that can be your own outlet. Everybody's unique. We can all like different things. You could take up art, you could take up dancing, you could take up any kind of hobby you want, race cars, just depends on your budget, I guess. So you need to find this outlet, this release. Obviously, a lot of walking does good. A lot of reflecting, a lot of reading, a lot of podcasts can help. You can start your own podcast. You can heal from your traumas, and then help other people heal from theirs. But I just see that all too often. Like, people just don't understand their worth, and they'll consistently put up with less than what they're valued at, just because they can't handle the fact of not having somebody there. And at this point, I can honestly say that I would rather not have anybody here. I'd rather not have to go through anybody arguing with anything that I say, or what are you doing all day, or any of this stuff, texting all the time if I don't reply right away. All the stuff, you know what I'm talking about. All the drama. Yeah, if you're married, this doesn't apply to you. And if you have a good marriage, then I'm proud of you. But in my experience and I haven't been with a lot of girls, but in my experience of dating, it's just always something. If you don't find the right person that's healed, that's taken the necessary steps to heal themselves and they just jump from relationship to relationship, it's just gonna fail again because they don't ever take the time to correct themselves. And you can try and help them as much as you want, but until they decide to do it on their own, time frame, it'll never happen. They won't change, and you are better off letting them go. And if you choose to picking somebody else, you pick somebody else. You can be single. There are actually guys, and there's probably girls, but there's guys like me that do not, like just don't have the desire. Somebody, a week ago, I was at work. Sometimes I'll talk to some people and hint at maybe going out on a date or something like, something in that sense. And somebody called me stubborn, and I didn't know what they meant until I got home, and I've been home this last 2 weeks. What was stubborn about me from somebody that has never met me in real life and has just seen me online to call me stubborn. And I realized while I've been home that I am stubborn because I won't even put in, like, I'm so so comfortable with being with myself all the time and not having anybody around unless I need to spend time with Mackenzie, which is the most important thing to me. Nothing's going to get in the way of that. But I'm stubborn and stuck in this sense of, comfortability. I just don't even care if anybody's around. I don't care if anybody calls me or texts me all day. I talk to Mackenzie every day, as much as I can. There's only so much you can say, but you always have to let your kids know how much you love them and to have a good day and everything like that. You need to do that every single day, multiple times. But I do that. But other than that, I don't really care. I have a few close friends that I'll talk to, and we'll talk on the phone for an hour, and I'll feel good about talking to them. But after that, I'm fine with being alone. It's just, we've gotten comfortable having somebody around all the time, and it allows them to sometimes not be beneficial to us, and they're just stepping on you and degrading your own self-confidence. And then whenever you do have enough courage, or that person leaves you, or you finally have the courage to leave them, you have to rebuild yourself completely. But so it's a lot easier if you recognize it to begin with, and if that person's not going to change and it's something they have to decide to do, then you need to cut ties. You wouldn't put up with a tenth of the things that you put up with. If you're in a situation like that right now, you wouldn't put up with 1/10 of what you put up with if you actually released that and built up the confidence that you used to have before you got into that situation. You would not let any of the stuff fly that you're dealing with. If somebody's not appreciative, if somebody's not trustworthy or loyal, if somebody's always liking other people's pictures or commenting, you know what I'm saying? If they're always doing these things that disrespect you, you have to make the decision. It's not the harder choice is staying, because the freedom that comes from taking the step to correct yourself and start over basically with somebody else is a lot better of a choice. It's a lot easier. It may seem like it's not, but it definitely is. Just wanted to let you guys know, if that's a problem that you have in your life and you're not being appreciated, quit dealing with it. Start doing this program, 75 Hard. You can learn all about it on episode 208 on the Real AF feed, and pick a diet and a book and get started. That you'll build the self-confidence back, your self-esteem, your perseverance, your grit, your determination, all the things that came with you whenever you may have gotten into this relationship or whenever you were at your highest. Get back to that. Stop letting people control you. Stop letting people control your feelings. Stop, letting people step all over you. You have to be able to stick up for yourself, and you have to be able to speak up for yourself. And you want to be in a good position where you develop your mindset to where you can handle that. If something ends, something splits up, you want to be able to handle it mentally, because a lot of people fall off track, we go and binge out on different things or get addicted to different things or get in trouble with the law. You don't want to have that come down to that. So start correcting yourself, even if you don't end the situation now and it might end up getting better and you think it's going to. At least you're correcting yourself in this time period where you have uncertainty. So Just wanted to touch on that today. It was something I was thinking about, how I used to be always just dead set on how am I ever going to be alone, and now it's the exact opposite. How am I ever going to let somebody in? Maybe that's something I need to work on, but for now, I enjoy it. I enjoy spending all my free time with Mackenzie and working. I work out of town, so it's just one of those things. It's not very feasible to expect somebody just, I don't know. If I'm working out of town, I don't want to deal with that. So that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys for following along and showing support. We only got about 10 days left for this, but we still got a long road the rest of our lives ahead of us. So I'll be back tomorrow for day 65. Peace.